Hey guys, Eamonn here, back with another rugby video. We're going to be checking out Lukhanyo Am today. This was recommended by a ton of you guys. Let me just look who actually, Hank underscore III, or Hank the Third. He recommended him. He was the first guy who recommended him. I remember that was like one of my first rugby videos. I think the Hank mentioned a bunch of guys, and this guy was one of them. And then a bunch more you guys recommended. Pretty much every time I've asked, you guys have said him. So yeah, we're gonna check him out today. I found a good Squidge Rugby video that we can do on him instead of like just a highlight video. This seems like it'll be a really good video to watch. So yeah, if you're enjoying the videos, make sure to drop a sub, drop a like, comment stuff I missed throughout the video and all that. Yeah, it's been a huge help. I've learned so much in the past month about rugby. It's crazy. I'm pretty much at the point where I feel pretty confident that I could watch a game and like understand most of the stuff going on. So yeah, it's been awesome having you guys helping me out. But yeah, so if you are new here to my channel, we usually do for highlight videos and for like if I look at a specific team and stuff, I usually will go on Wikipedia first and take a look at their little history and like position they play, all that stuff. So we're gonna do that first here. If you don't care about that at all, I have the time code set up, so you can just click to the actual highlight reaction, or the video reaction. But yeah, I know lots of you guys have said you like doing the Wikipedia stuff, so I've been keeping that in there for you guys that do. Yeah, so let's just hop in his Wikipedia here. I actually did go on. I went and looked up how to like pronounce his name, because I've been pretty much every name we've come across so far in like rugby league, every nation, I've been saying the names wrong. So I figured it might be better for me to just actually learn the name beforehand, so I don't have to sit there stuttering over the name over and over again. Yeah, so we got him. It's Lukhanyo Am. I'm pretty sure is how you say it. That's what they said in the video, so we'll see. If it's not, then what are you gonna do? That looks right. Phonetically, is that the right word? Phonetically, yeah. Lukhanyo Am, 1993, so he's age 30. South African, yeah. He plays for the Sharks in the United Rugby Championship. Regular positions are center and wing. Okay, so center is that number 13? Inside is 12, outside's 13. Okay, is he inside or outside? Doesn't look like it says. But yeah, so regardless, so yeah, centers who did we do for centers so far? We did O'Driscoll, I think he was the greatest 13 ever that we did. Did we do any other centers? Let me look at this. I don't think we did. Yeah, Brian O'Driscoll, Danny Gerber, you guys have mentioned a ton as well. I'll do him eventually. Yeah, so yeah, he's plays center, so they're staying close to the fly-half or at first receiver on the side of the scrum or breakdown. Like the fly-half, they generally possess a good kicking game and are good at reading the play and directing the attack. Their center's positions outside the inside center, generally the faster of the two. Main role is to provide space for the players outside them. They need to run good lines, be able to size up and swerve, have good passing skills. Okay, yeah, so they're kind of like is it the QB? No, that's a different position. That's the QB, or that's like kind of like a QB in American football. Yeah, the halfback is more the QB, right? But yeah, the centers, like they're really important. They provide a lot of yeah. Anyways, yeah, it says he also plays wing sometimes, which is interesting. So that means he must be pretty fast then, right? Yeah. He's 6'1", 205 pounds. International career. When did he join the Springboks? Why am I not seeing that? Oh, here we go. He had a perfect. Yeah, it's South Africa. 2017 looks like he joined. Yeah, partnering well with Damien De Alonde and causing havoc for opposition teams. He was very instrumental in the lead-up games for the 2019 Rugby Championship campaign. Yeah, they won the Rugby Championship trophy. He's also been named on several games the vice captain to Sia Khaleesi. Okay, so he's like really important then. Yeah, he won the World Cup 2019. Who can ever forget the amazing run and wicked pass Lukhanyo Am gave Makazel Mapimpi, which led to a memorial and historic Springboks' first finals try in Rugby World Cups. Wait, what was that? Memorable and historic Springboks' first finals try. What is a first finals? Yeah, I'm really confused about this line in this Wikipedia. All previous Springboks World Cup finals were won without. Oh, okay. So I should have read the next sentence. Okay, so in the previous World Cups that the Springboks won, they never actually scored a try in the finals. That's crazy. So all their points were like penalties and stuff. Wild. Okay. I did not expect that to be a thing. I figured you had to get tries really to, like, is it 2 points or that's, yeah, I'm still there's I'm getting rugby and league mixed up for the kicking points. Yeah, I'll look that up after. That's not a huge deal. I'll get it right. Am played a central role in the Springboks 2010 World Cup campaign featuring 6 out of 7 matches. Okay. British Rugby World Cup in France. Although he didn't initially make the team due to injury, he was later called up to the campaign in France for the injured Makazole Mapimpi. Okay. Yeah, so he's won a lot the last few years. He was the captain in 2021 South Africa A versus British Isles Lions tour and then won it. Okay, international tries, yeah. Okay, so that's pretty good for that. Not the longest Wikipedia page, but yeah, we went over the basics you need to look at. Okay, so this video I found is from Squidge, who, yeah, like I've said before, and like you guys have said, Squidge is like an amazing tool to have as like a rugby fan and like someone learning rugby. He's like really good. We've done one video of his where he showed how the Springboks beat France in, was it 2023? Yeah, 2023. Yeah, in the quarterfinals. And yeah, that was a really helpful video. A lot of it went over my head because I'm still new to learning the sport, but yeah, he does a good job of like explaining stuff. And this video, it seems to be like, it just explains how he's good, I guess, is kind of it. Like, I'm sure it'll go much more in depth about the thing outside of just like highlights like that I've been doing. All right, so let's hop into this. I just realized I didn't have my screen recording the Wikipedia page, so that'll just be a black box, I guess, while I go over it. Apologies. You couldn't really see it anyways. I have the screen really small when I'm on Wikipedia. But yeah, so let's hop into this. It's a long one. I'm going to try not to pause it too much, but I'm probably going to have to because there's going to be a lot of info that might go over my head. Okay. Oh yeah, and did I already say this? If not, yeah, make sure to sub to Squidge Rugby. Invaluable tool to have. Yeah, make sure to sub and like his video. I'll put his channel in the comments or in the description, so go do that right now so you don't forget. Go subscribe to him if you haven't and like the video. Let us go.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the Antoine Dupont of website builders.
So the best website builder? Okay.
I don't think any other sport produces as many kinds of world-class athletes as rugby. Where basketball and whatever this sport might be gives you many, many variants on a few themes, there's no other game where the sport's finest can span from Fumi Tanaka to Uni Antonio. And so the way we discuss the game has to be so much broader. Oz Durant and Shane Williams had equivalent impacts on rugby, but you'd never call Eastern Cape Gandolfini magic or Ammanford's greatest on-grass figure skater destructive. Instead, all-time greats are consistently split up into categories, often summed up in very neat groups able to be described in 3 words or fewer, instantly placing them in an archetype of players, a lineage of history. Johnny Wilkinson, hard work, commitment, accuracy, seen since in Dan Bigger and Owen Farrell. Jonah Lomu, outrageous power and pace, seen in everyone from Julian Surveyor to George North. Richie McCaw, leadership, durability, sneaky bastardry. That's
that's a good explanation of how you rank players, kind of.
Current best players slot calmly into set, easily describable.
There's no like one best player. You just
ridiculous, skillful, alarmingly strong.
You just go off because the positions are all different. Yeah.
Michael Hooper, tenacious, tireless leader. And then we get to Lukhanyo Am. And the only word I can find to really sum him up is class. Unarguably one of the top 5 players on the planet right now. There's a pretty good argument he might even be number 1. And yet it's so much harder to explain why it might be him than it is the magic cuboid at 9 for France. He doesn't really exist in a lineage of players as Dupont, Scarrett or Hooper does. He's just kind of something new. And so, in order to answer the kind of conundrum once and for all, it's time to really dig in. Just why is Lukhanyo Am so class? And what is his new category of world-class rugby player? When we talk about rugby intelligence, I think we often end up celebrating the players who are pro of world-class rugby player. When we talk about rugby intelligence...
When I, of course, learn everything where we learned from every spell hosting popular games for players. Okay, that's something I don't understand that. Never mind.
The players who approach the sport is ultimately just a homoerotic way to feel like you wrestled a rhino, as though it was a game of chess. But whereas a player like George Ford or Paolo Garbisi clearly thinks a great deal about the game, Lukhanyo Am's approach to rugby intelligence is far more unique. Where any other player as smart as him would look to control the game, Am simply plays it. This try against
Okay.
Australia is as intelligent a moment as you'll ever see on a rugby pitch. But instead of being plotted and planned, it's reactive. After a solid carry by Ori, Pollard spots it on to go wide and Am runs a great line. His aim is to draw Karevi so Pollard can fix opposite number Cooper, but Karevi is ball watching, he hasn't even noticed Am, so Am slows down. He stops his momentum, meaning he bumps into Karevi instead of flying straight past him, momentarily creating a separation from Cooper, which allows Villiers to use his phenomenal hands to leave the Wallabies outflanked. Nkosi runs out of room and cuts in field to prevent big push into touch, but this is where Am's unbelievable knack for noticing comes in. Let's just watch Rhys Hodge playing fullback for Australia for a moment. As the Boks go wide, he comes into the main line with a cut down Nkosi's space, but he isn't even in a tackle, yet he has a split second of considering it. So he stands in on the wing as the guard, but his eyes are always on the ruck. Am is watching this the entire time. His eyes are always on Hodge. The centre slips onto the blind side, but whilst doing so, he has a little word with Faf de Klerk. He's calling for the kick, knowing Australia's only backfield, Nick White, is too far away and Hodge has his head inwards. Am's already at full speed by the time he's turned around, and he can ground the ball uncontested. It's a tiny genius call exploiting a split second of space he was crucial in creating in the first place, by pulling Hodge up out of the backfield. But there's another note on this, right? I've only ever seen Faf de Klerk kick off his right foot twice. One was this try here, if he kicks off his preferred left foot, the nudge has been blocked. The other was a few months earlier against the British and Irish Lions and also called by Lukhanyo Am. South Africa wheel this maul, cutting off the entire Lions pack from the backs. So, knowing de Klerk had been lured onto the foot with never kicks, the Lions are fronting up for a huge carry from Deolanda here. The kick isn't a consideration. Instead, though, the call comes from 13 and de Klerk drops it onto his right foot. The only man who has
that has to be a play, right?
Turns his back to try and obstruct Am, but the Boks just glide around it. The kick is perfectly weighted, the ball right in front of Am, meaning he can beat Henshaw running diagonally to it. Am grounds it and seals the match. The Test series is level. On both occasions, Am knew not only was the best option the kick, but that it had to come off the right foot and had to come off 9. It's a breed of instantaneous reactive rugby intelligence that can only grow when the player backs and believes in the team around him, not just himself.
I will say, I don't think, Am couldn't have told de Klerk to kick off his right foot, right? It probably wouldn't be enough time for him to actually say, use your right foot. But it would be him telling him that, and then Klerk is also smart enough to know to kick it off his right foot. And that you'd have to kick it off his right foot, I'd assume.
Am is possibly the most selfless player on the planet right now. Something underlined, highlighted, then screamed by the paper itself that is written on by this iconic touch from the last Rugby World Cup final. A moment I labelled at the time as possibly the most selfless act in rugby union history.
Why was this?
I don't know if there's another player on the planet who put in a position where with 90% likelihood you're going to score the try that wins the World Cup.
Okay, jeez.
That guarantees the extra 10%. But
Damn.
Okay. It's a mindset evident in every area of his game.
He's just like the ultimate team player then. He's super smart and everything does is for the team. There's no ego at all.
Shepherding him, knowing that if he goes to the ball himself, he'll miss the chance to just smash his opponent into touch. Rugby for Lukhanyo Am has no individual glory. It's a team task with a clear objective.
There's zero
he's
ego.
Calmly focus on accomplishing. Yet things at test level happen so quickly, and Am seems to just see them in slow motion. Here the ball spills out of a South African maul, and suddenly the Boks are on unexpected defence. Deolanda fires up and sells himself, but Am knows he has time so he can play it far calmer. He hangs back, probably wondering what to read on the plane home as he watches Farrell change his mind in real time. And then he forgets books and settles on just reading Chris Harris instead. Harris is trying to isolate LaRue, so Am just lets him, slowing down and allowing the offload, knowing the writing is on the wall for Daly once he catches it, and it ain't gonna be a breezy summer read. Well, here, playing for the Sharks, Am has even more time on his hands and decides to go one better and make the website. Now, 6 seconds for any of us is the equivalent of about 2 hours for Lukhanyo Am. So, knowing there's about 10 seconds between rucks, he probably has the equivalent of about an afternoon to any of us to knock up a beautiful, functional, perfect website. But thankfully, he also knows just where to go and make one. So he heads to Squarespace. He builds a blog to write posts about the scrum half picking the ball up here. Then he
you guys mentioned Squidge. Squidge is pretty good at
dissect everything each of them could do. But whereas anyone else would figure
weaving in his sponsors into the video.
So
really creative.
Using Squarespace's mail list features, he fires off an email newsletter to every one of his teammates, so simply informing them all of what Staines going to do. But working on human time, none of them have time to check their emails. So he sets up a members-only area to go and post the info on what Staines going to do. But again, they don't see it, so fine. He just goes and makes the insert himself. He shoots in, makes a genius read before running it under the post. A clip he can then integrate onto his homepage as a video clip. And if you want to be just like Lukhanyo Am, you can head to the link in the description and visit Squarespace to get 10% off using the offer code Squidge Rugby.
There we go. If you need to make a website, go check that out.
At home, and on your
Support
computer,
Squidge for
pro
sure.
rugby, but it's up to you.
He's
It's this
been
anticipation that
makes
sets
crazy
Am apart.
videos.
Watching
So
this try for South Africa against the Lions, the initial reaction of almost everyone is to go, bloody hell, Cheslin Colby's good. But when you watch it back, it becomes clearer and clearer this is an
that's
absolute
me.
masterclass by our boy Lukhanyo.
Okay,
As
let's
a
see.
daily
What does he
plays,
do?
Am turns very briefly to assess the situation and instantly looks to Colby to point out Lewis Rees-Zammit. The Lions have cleared in the hurry, so this
Zammit.
chase is sparse.
Nice.
Just Harris and Zammit on this side of the pitch. Now, just for a burst of context, right? Chris Harris is probably the second best defensive centre in the planet to Am, and his ability to single-handedly shut down counterattacks is kind of legendary in the Northern Hemisphere. If you told a Lions fan, right, they could choose literally any player from across the 4 countries to be in the situation Harris finds himself here, they would probably pick Harris. And yet, Am is one bound ahead of even his next closest rival. The moment Daly makes the kick, Am's turn to Colby and point out Rees-Zammit. He wants him to target the winger, but moments later, he then turns to de Klerk and tells him to take the wing to get on the outside of Colby. Zammit is alone, but he's not an idiot. If Am's plan is to work, he needs a second option for him to consider, something to make him think about, and putting Faf as a passing option outside him grants that. However, Harris is playing this perfectly. He drifts in, shutting down the space and giving Colby only the tightest margins to play in. But just watch Am, right? Now, it's a very common trick in rugby for players chasing back to casually obstruct chases, to just kind of linger in the way. Getting into
That's like in hockey they do that too. It's like a pick.
At first, Am
Just getting in front of someone slightly.
so tight, you might as well
Can
change
block
to
him.
Lukhanyo. But then he does this. He just drifts onto Harris's inside away from Colby, becoming no obstruction at all. This baffles Harris. He turns around to check where his opposite number is, assuming it's a trick. And that's all the invitation that Colby needs. He accelerates onto Harris's outside and Zammit drifts onto de Klerk. Am has simply got himself out of the way. If you plonk him here, the gap is too small for even living pencil sharpener Colby to squeeze through. But now, there's just enough gap between Harris and Zammit. And yet, Am's decision to fade out is a double whammy. Having pictured pretty much the situation right when Daly kicked it, he's able to work out and time his support line perfectly, popping up on the end just as Colby's tackle to run in a try he's silently masterminded. And it's not just tries he's working out in real time. Here, as the ball is moving down the line, Am glances across and spots Anthony Watson jogging into position. So, he stabs through this kick. He knows Hogg will beat any Springboks to it, but that's the idea. Hogg regathers under pressure, and Watson isn't yet in position to hit the pass. He's slightly in front of Hogg, and also too far away to clear out, meaning Hogg has to take it in with 3 South Africans bearing down on him and no other Lions around. Am makes the tackle and Deolande Mapimpi win the penalty, allowing Handré Pollard a shot at goal. His decision making is instantaneous, picking up on the slightest hint in order to spring into action, with Prop Francis here playing 9. The pass is shoddy, so Am decides to hang back a moment. The pass has put Beard under pressure, so he compounds the issue by throwing another dodgy ball to McNichol, at which point Am explodes into life, blocking the pass to Davis and also making sure to nudge him in the process, removing Wales' only support player and allowing South Africa to disrupt the ball enormously, almost winning it back. It's a tiny swing that changes the momentum of a moment. Argentina here on a really good attack until Am makes the opposition and shoots up. Miotti is left with 2 options: get smashed or give a boring inside ball. The wide play is no longer on. This instantaneously ends Argentina's momentum and allows the Springboks to turn it over shortly afterwards. But even when Am isn't making split-second reads, he's just such a nuisance to play against. The Lions spent months, maybe even years, working on moves to work out the way South Africa defend. And this is a superb one. It's really well executed as well. It should do that. But Lukhanyo just dawdles through them. He never commits, just drifting through the Lions, meaning Hogg once again has no option to take it himself. The Lions move is good enough that Am has no idea what they're going to do. He can't read it as he usually might, but that doesn't stop him shutting it down anyway. Most centres would be decisive. They'd make a key call, right or wrong, and stick to it. But there's a confidence and assuredness that comes in Am being so willing to make the decision of no decision, just drifting and covering everyone like the most world-class under-10s defender you've ever seen. But that isn't to say he doesn't do decisive, very much the opposite. Here, he's about to fold around the ruck and cover the far side. At the last moment, he spots Anthony Watson entering the frame and flashes back. Typically, a defender would want to get on the outside space.
So you can see him making decisions. Is awesome.
Take Watson, but with him running such a curved angle and the lingering Jack Conan so flat, it's unlikely any pass Watson can get away will be worth more than 5 metres. So Am shoots out of line here, allowing Watson to get on his outside deliberately. Every step Watson takes sideways is an extra half second for Khaleesi to reach the wing. Am eventually completes the tackle and shepherds the winger's body into the path of Khaleesi, who's unlucky not to win a turnover. It's perhaps the most interesting thing about Lukhanyo Am, because he doesn't ever really make mistakes, but not in the sense he gets everything right, he doesn't. But in the way, whenever he does make an error, he instantly turns it into a positive. Am makes a mess of his line here, but 6 seconds later he's adapted into the perfect position to chase his kick. Or here, he fires up, being pretty class himself, Barrett can react in time and take the gap it opens. Yet, unworried by a potential error, Am instantly reprioritises, blocking off the pass, trusting Malherbe to make the tackle, shuts the attack down. There's no desperation to amend an individual mistake, just to make the best decision for the team. There's a moment in the recent Two-Sides Lions documentary where his mother describes the unflappable sense of calm she feels whenever her son returns home, and that sheer peace is the absolute core of everything Am does so well. well. If players like Mornay Stain or Dan Bigger have ice in their veins, whatever's pumping through Lukhanyo Am is so cool it could end global warming. This infamous pass to Spew and Gosi is another highlight reel moment, but if most players tried this, it'll be all about ego. With Am, it's entirely deception, wrapping the ball in this arm so that Ioane commits, assuming there's no way he can ever get it away. Instead, Am just magics it to Nkosi, who can put Diolande
so
in the corner.
fluid.
Because this is the contradiction at the heart of Lukhanyo Am. Am is a player so focused on doing the boring jobs calmly, he manages to produce some of the most thrilling shit you've ever seen in your life. Swagger Smith here making a superb launch at the line. England, understandably, concentrate most of their resources around the ruck, expecting another drive. But instead, Yankees calls it out. Now, Lukhanyo Am is an incredibly trusting player, whether that's assuming de Klerk can put it on a sixpence off his wrong foot or thinking Makazole Mpimpi will one day high-five him if he keeps putting him for enough tries. But on this occasion, he knows what has to be done can only be done by him. Am begins running what's known as an overs line, looking to get it outside of Malins, but this forces Stewart to turn in on him, and Am instantly squares his line, fixating on Stewart and taking him out of the game entirely before unleashing a quite unbelievable pass. Many international players would struggle to flick a simple ball under this kind of insane pressure, but Lukhanyo Am's sheer ocean of calm is so strong, it feels as though none of his core skills are affected by the pressure, able to fling it to Mpimpi perfectly for yet another occasion to see himself just get blanked, just get ignored. Because his catch pass is so unbelievable, it becomes a point of interest in itself. This is so simple. As the ball leaves the scrum, Am throws his hands up into a target. Rees-Zammit spots this and points it out to his teammates, coming up into the line expecting Am to do some fancy shit. But instead, it's a bluff. Rees-Zammit, now pulled up by this, Stain can kick it in behind and leave Daly under huge pressure. He gets the pass as ammo, but the pressure shifts and you can only hit it out on the full before being smashed into touch. That's a 30-metre net gain just down to Lukhanyo Am's body language. That's how big a threat he is. There are very few things on a rugby field that Lukhanyo Am cannot do, from filtering in as an extra forward for the Springboks to throwing some of the greatest passes the game will ever see. Am is a player with a near-perfect skill set, but it's almost an irrelevance. The reason the word that comes to mind is class rather than classy is because of how he utilises it. We can divide Am into a category of players like any other great, but it's a brand new one rather than an existing archetype, and it's really, really exciting. He's a centre whose key skills are anticipation and patience, things you'd normally expect from the kind of 10 who we previously described as the kind of chess master. Yet instead of ordering his army around the field, Am plays a middle role. He rarely starts or finishes many of his ideas, instead acting as one of the greatest cogs the game has ever seen, allowing the bits to pay more attention to work.
That's a cool description.
An hour here just discussing how good his dummy lines are or how great he is on a kick chase, because the less sexy something is, the more likely Lukhanyo Am seems to be one of the greatest out there at it. And yet, as well as being this really boring dude, he's also a centre who can prompt excitement and commentary that sounds like this.
Oh, what a play! Oh my god. Catches it and then kicks it right away and scores. That's wild.
But if we look at this try, right? If we really look, it kind of sums Am up perfectly. This isn't a showcase of flair, it's a pragmatic decision to keep the ball in the field and play under pressure while the defence is unsettled. Lukhanyo Am is a man who does the most thrilling shit you've ever seen in the most boring way possible, and a man who does the boring jobs with the thrill of perfection. He's a man who plays rugby in his own way, almost absorbing the game and embracing all aspects without needing to think. He's a man who we could describe with so many words, but at the end of the day, why should we when we can use just one? Lukhanyo Am is class.
Nice. All right, so that was Lukhanyo Am by Squidge Rugby. Awesome video. I didn't talk that much because I was trying to what's the word? I was trying to take in everything that they were saying because I've said it still is new to me, but I'm definitely learning a lot. And that video was super helpful. But yeah, so Lukhanyo Am. So basically, what it came down to is that he's just like the ultimate selfless player, I guess, the ultimate teammate, the ultimate extremely high skill, but he doesn't his only focus is winning. There's no ego whatsoever. It's entirely about winning. Every play is designed to maximize the chances of winning. That's what you need. That you can tell. If that's one of their key players and that's how he plays, you can tell why they have been so good the last 2 World Cups since he came around. Even if you look at pretty much most sports that are completely team based, like hockey, the amount of hockey and rugby comparables of seen so far is crazy. But yeah, like in hockey, it's the same thing. There's tons of teams. Like my favorite team as well, like the Leafs over here. If any of you guys are hockey fans as well, you'll know that the Leafs have been, for the past like 8 years or so, the Leafs have been like the highest skill team in the NHL, pretty much. Like a couple other teams are similar, but actually even like the team with the best player in the world right now, Connor McDavid, who's like arguably could be like one of the best players in history. Like even that team, like neither team is winning because they don't, not so much because they're like, those players aren't like selfless, I guess, but like if you look at teams that actually do win in hockey, they're usually are led by players that are completely like no ego whatsoever. Everything they do is for the team, and it's hard to like find players like that also have the skill to back it up. Like yeah, like I was saying, like with my team, like we have a bunch of really, really high skill players, but they cheat a bit, I guess. They cheat for like individual stuff and cheat for offense and stuff like that, so it results in them not getting it done. So yeah, if you just look at team sports in general, like it's players like that are like, you'll see them on every team that wins. There's just so many guys like that, and they're super important. But yeah, so that video was awesome. There's so much stuff, like when we do these deep dives, especially Squidge Rugby, like I just learn a lot. There's tons of stuff I learn about how you can just like drawing players in and like directing your team and seeing plays happen before they happen. Yeah, like and based on some of the clips we saw there, I guess if you were to or if he was to like play more for himself, you might actually see him like on some crazy highlight reels, like even more than he already is. But he just doesn't care about that. There's just no ego there at all. He just wants to win. And yeah, what was that? The one play, like the World Cup winning try, was he passed it off when just because there was a slightly higher chance of them scoring if he passed it, even though he pretty much would have got it himself. That's just, yeah, that's what it takes. If you have more suggestions on Squidge Rugby videos to do, let me know. His channel's definitely like just amazing, so yeah, make sure to sub to him, give him a like, comment about how awesome he is, because he's pretty awesome. I'm sure these videos take forever for him to make. I know some of the videos I make take forever to edit, but these ones are actually like cutting clips up like crazy, so he probably spends a lot of time making them. But yeah, if you have other suggestions for Squidge Rugby videos specifically, let me know, and other stuff as well. I don't want to just like only do his videos, because yeah, that's kind of weird. But yeah, and if you want me to actually just check out like a Lukhanyo Am highlight reel as well instead of this video, let me know and I'll do that, because it definitely seems like he does have a pretty good highlight reel, even though he's not like the flashiest player, I guess would be the right word. He still has pretty flashy, but his flash isn't like intentional. It's just like that was the right play at the time, and it was flashy because it was the right play. Yeah. Anyways, we'll end it there. This is a long one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a sub, drop a like, comment stuff I should check out, or stuff I missed, or just anything cool that you want me to know, I guess. Let me know. Yeah, we'll end it there. Have a good one, guys.